What's going on, everybody? I am Phil DiMartino. This is Tyler Pyburn. We
should
here.
have just ended it right there. That would have been great, right?
I don't know if that would have been great.
Yeah, you're right. It probably would have been worth it. We'll keep going.
That would have been the whole video. We are here for another Five Tool Productions video podcast, and today we are talking about consistency.
So you guys know this has actually come up because if you've been following along, we haven't been consistent lately. And it's kind of good to call ourselves out a little bit,
absolutely.
and to show kind of what happens when you're not consistent. So long story short, we've been putting these out basically on a weekly basis. And last month, things got very busy with our company and life in general. And like anything, it kind of got in the way, and we were pretty lax on ourselves with it. That's all well and good because things were going great with the company. But what's interesting, when we go back and we actually measure ourselves, and this is kind of opening our books essentially to you guys. When we go back and we actually measure traffic to our site and to our social channels, there's kind of obvious connections to say we did not publish enough last month.
Right.
So we're kind of jumping back on the horse again and making sure that we have enough content for the next couple of months. And it just kind of proves that consistency is key when it comes to content creation.
It is, and I think we talk about ROI here a lot, and it's important because it's why you do work. It's why you do what you do, is figuring out what you're getting back for what you're putting in. And one of the things we always talk about is looking at our Google Analytics. And if you're not looking at your Google Analytics for your company or someone
any
isn't,
analytics package,
well,
whether if it's Facebook, if it's
whatever
Instagram,
you're posting
whatever
to,
it is.
sure, 100%. I'm talking specifically right now about Google just because the conversion back to site traffic. So for us, whenever we put a post up or we put a social post, a blog post, whatever it is, you can clearly see in our Google Analytics the spikes.
And good spikes too. You know people are on it, you know people are watching. Even if sometimes it's only a handful, sometimes it's a good amount of people. But you do see the kind of ebbs and flows of it as it goes along.
No, and I think it's just critically important because as you stay consistent and get more, those spikes tend to be more mountains than they are little hills.
Exactly.
So for us, at least, what we've seen is, the more consistent we are, the more that traffic kind of builds on itself over time, and people get familiar with seeing you, and maybe they like what you're doing a little bit, and they say, that was valuable last time, I'm going to go back and look at it again this time. So for us, the consistency is key to building site traffic.
Yeah. What's funny, what's interesting is that there's a YouTuber out there named Roman Atwood. And Roman, he did, I heard him speak, and one of his points, he just said, just keep posting. Stop worrying about how one little edit might look and just keep posting, because the more you post, the more people are going to jump on board and the more it's going to grow. Now, don't post crap, right? I mean, that's the key. I mean, that we had a discussion about that a little while ago.
Good versus lots.
Good versus lots. You don't want to just be pushing out a bunch of garbage all the time. But if you have something to say, continue to post, continue to document your experience, and continue to show, open your doors up. And it can be anywhere, right? And in any medium too. We just happen to be using video right
now. I think it's especially critical for really small companies like we are, and tons and thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of people are. I think it's really important for small companies because a lot of times you have to make the decision between sales, marketing, and the actual work, the execution, right? And when it comes down to it, it's what are you prioritizing? And a lot of times the marketing, the content creation, the marketing, it feels like it can get pushed down the chain of command a little bit. But then what you have to remember, and what we're trying to remember too, is that if you don't do the marketing, well, there's not going to be any sales to do, and there certainly isn't going to be work to execute on.
Well, that's just it. I mean, content marketing as a whole, it's not a short-term investment. Right? It's a long-term investment when we're talking about this. So you might not necessarily see, like I just said, we had a very interesting, fun last month. It's been great. Because we didn't really create enough last month, that doesn't necessarily mean next month is going to hurt. It might be in future. So that's why we're creating more right now for you guys. But with that in mind, we kind of have to look in accountability is a huge factor of it, is go back and say, okay, what are our content goals of our cadence, right? Our cadence is going to be one of these a week. We're creating one of a different type of content a month. We're doing another Facebook Live a couple times a month. We're making sure that we're always updating our Instagram once a day. Our stories needs to be continuously updated. And you see the fruits of your labor in time. I mean, a great example is we were posting from an event. I had somebody reach out to me and said, hey, I saw the Instagram story. So it's not necessarily because you're getting new traffic, but it's also reminding people about
staying
you.
top of mind with people.
Exactly.
And I think the point you make about planning is really important. Like, what's the adage? Like, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? Like, you physically map out what you're going to do. And I think that's one of the things as a young company and as a small company, it can be easy to just say, we're going to do stuff and we're going to get it out and we're going to be fine. That's a surefire way to make sure you don't get out as much stuff as you want to get out. So for us, it's come down to physically saying, we're getting X amount a week of this, 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 and this. We're going to X amount a month of this, 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 and this. And then it's holding yourselves accountable, which is actually the hard part.
Exactly. So we are holding ourselves accountable right now for you guys. So we wanted to, kind of profess our failures, not failures, but shortcomings.
Sure. And learning experience for everyone.
Exactly.
I think content creation and marketing is a constant learning experience because there's always new channels and there's always new challenges, and it's a balancing act. So I think it's good to take stock of what you're doing and remind yourself that it is a learning experience for everyone.
And one last kind of point to make, just because you're planning things out doesn't mean that something ad hoc isn't going to
flexible,
happen.
sure.
Right, be flexible. Don't be so rigid that, nope, we're locked into this type of video and that type of video or this type of blog post X amount a month. And, be flexible, roll with the punches, and be more of a counterpuncher, right? That's what you want to be as a content marketer, is a counterpuncher. Can you tell we love sports? Always making a sports.
It's only that the company's named after a sports term. I don't know. Maybe that's how they would have figured it out.
Yeah, that's it.
A future podcast?
A future podcast. What are the 5 tools? We'll talk about that.
That's a great idea.
We should do
that. That's a great idea.
All right. We'll wrap it up. He's Phil. I'm Tyler. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next time.